Mark, Senior Advisor at, let's see if I get this right, URW and Newsec.
Yes.
We will put questions. I'm full of questions and I'm so excited because this future seems fantastic to me.
It is.
It is fantastic. We can start maybe with a question to Olivia here. I assume this comes with challenges. This seems kind of overwhelming in terms of what you need. And when I go into the shops today, this is not what I kind of get. I can't even dial my phone back in the... So what's the challenges here?
I think it's a super good question. And of course, it comes with a lot of challenges. What we said during our speech is the store is changing and retailers needs to change. And looking on different kinds of retailers, this affects them in different grades. But taking fashion, for example, some of the key challenges that I see is, first of all, being able to meet a shifting demands and accord it or adapt it accordingly in the stores. That means, for example, having the right kinds of assortment in the stores, being able to personalize the experiences around the customers. The second thing that I see is this merge between the online and the offline world. We talked a lot about this infrastructure fulfillment center, and to get that in place is a challenge. And the third, but not least, is of course this transition into becoming a more circular business model with resell, reuse, recycling the products.
Yeah, that's great answers and great challenges. Linda, maybe do you have any?
Yeah, additional. That was a great answer. So yeah, but you are on it. So one, I guess this going from being a push organization that is like pushing out everything from products, doing stores without really the insights of how it will go, that is, you need to become more of a pull. You need to start with the insights, knowing the customer, knowing your customer, and in the different locations, and be able with the processes to actually handle the different local subs in different ways. Because today maybe you have the insights, but you don't have the processes in place to be able to act on the insights. So to get that, big movement from a push to a pull, that is a big challenge, but something that needed to do actually. Yeah.
Because I just reflected, I go to the same stores all the time and I buy the same things, but I always have to do it. And yeah, I should do online, but I haven't gotten there yet. So.
Me neither, surprisingly. But Lars, so you've obviously spent years as managing director for European shopping malls. Yep. And we've heard a lot about, plenty of opportunities, plenty of challenges. But in your eyes then, what are the most critical things that retailers need to think about to future-proof their businesses and get?
It sounds like I'm repeating what they're saying, but it's definitely the omnichannel. And the biggest problem that I see is that retail companies are investing tons of money into e-commerce, which is only one of the channels, but almost no money into the physical stores or connecting them. So I am a retailer. Before I joined real estate 12 years ago, I spent 30 years in retail. And I'm very critical or criticizing the retail companies for the experience in the stores. Mm-hmm. Even in our shopping center, Westfield Mall of Scandinavia, which is probably the best in the Nordics, at least maybe in the world. But I was there the other day, and the visibility and the feeling of a digitalization is almost zero. Normally, I say that they give one of the staff an iPad and then they say they have digitalized the store. So the question is, all of this is available right now. But I think what the retailers and the problem they will have is what's nice to have and what's must have. This is the biggest challenge for them in this one.
So prioritization.
Exactly.
And Tobias, do you have any thoughts on that too?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to repeat everything again, going around the fourth time. No, but I think from my side, at least, the things that maybe you talked a little bit about, Linda, as well. I mean, we see technology as an enabler for the retail industry, but in what sense? I mean, we have technology to experience, we have technology to automate, and then we have technology to integrate. And when I talk about integrate, I talk about the data flows that you were mentioning, Linda. When we look at the supply chains around the world, the sustainability demands we have, we need to be much more diligent in how we manage our supply chain. We can't produce things that are not selling. So how do we get the indication early from these kind of places that retailers or our customers do not buy these kind of things anymore? It's going down. How do we get that information quickly to the back of the chain in order to stop that production or to refocus it? And I've seen a few examples which I think is really interesting. I mean, when we talked about the Porsche car, it's cool. I think it's really cool. But I mean, what are we actually saying? A motor for a Porsche car has a, how long lifetime do you think that has? 1 year? No. 5 years? 10 years? Any bet? Suddenly, depending on the components in your car, you can choose. I mean, the outskirts of the car, so how you design it, what kind of color it has, that can be changed. That should be changed from a moment's notice. But the engine is the same. The platform is the same. It's updated every 5 to 10 years, right? So suddenly we can produce the components we know we will have, but we can shift and change the outlooks of it in order to adapt it to our customers pretty easily without any investments. So I think, how do we do that in an integrated way through the entire supply chain? And how do we enable that together? And just thinking of your example, I mean, if I walk through a mall, as we talked about now, how do the mall provide the insights into the stores in order for them to know which kind of technology do I need, which customers are coming to me or not? How can I position my products in a better way for them to actually get footfall through the door? The right footfall, not the wrong, because that's only driving money. So we need to be much more efficient, and we need to be much more kind of integrated. That's the key challenge I see.
Circling back to this must-have, so being a technology strategist, Olivia, what's the trends then? What's the must-have technologies going now? What should you have in your store today?
Well, I will say in-store connectivity. What I've seen in my when I'm working, good choice. But more when it comes to tracking customers around the store and get the data. What do the customer like? Find the hot and cold spots, for example. But then there are a lot of other technologies. What do you say? Do you have any good suggestions?
Yeah, I reflected on a discussion we had yesterday with a New York-based company. And in New York, they are challenged with the phones today that we are walking around with in the stores. They are picking up and sending information the entire time. With the 5G enablement, I mean, think about what you as a property owner could do. When our customers are walking around in the store, they are giving the data to you. Which assortments are they walking by, as you said? I mean, can we understand? Suddenly you have real-time update on what assortments do we have, what are the products in these kind of spaces. So I mean, this is kind of how do we leverage that technology and the kind of new connected technologies that we have in order to put diversified and decentralized capabilities instead of having them centralized as we have today in one system.
Sounds like a great future.
Yeah, it does. And Lars, I mean, I know the sentiment I got from you was a little bit like, this is slow to come.
Yep.
But are you seeing any trends that are picking up a little bit when it comes to tech and retail?
Well, what we can see is a lot of R&D experiments that we have seen, and H&M is doing one thing, Monkey is doing another, ICA is doing one thing, but it's really at the R&D stage at the moment. And I think we are running a bit out of time to invest, both from the retail, real estate world owners and from the retailers, because at some point we will be beyond the tipping point, where it will be much more exciting to be in the virtual or in the e-commerce world. So I think really physical retail, and of course I need to promote music and the URW. But I can tell you that if you haven't seen it, that Unibail Westfield, they have just launched what we call the Digiphysic, which means that we, for example, we do live shopping where you can actually buy the products that are in the shopping center. So it's not only the retailers doing that any longer. We do live stream with the Lady Gaga concert we have in the Westfield Topanga in LA, and then we broadcast it all over the Westfield shopping centers, but also to the consumers who can download, you know. We have just bought land, what was it, Sandland and the other two, this metaverse we do, where we are about to create a Westfield mall and a Westfield community, you know. So we are working on it. I still think that, unfortunately, the discussion with shopping centers, especially during the pandemic and now the financial crisis, between the retailers and the landlords, is very much about the rent, you know. But if we don't do that, there will be no rent in the future. It's very easy.
Linda, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I really like to like look at the digital and what's working in the digital and how behavior. We are talking about incremental small shifts that is happening, and we don't really see it because shopping tends to feel the same as it was like 20 years ago. But I think some small changes, if we are honest, has changed. But the big ones haven't, and I think that's why because we are not really looking at the changed behavior and we are not supporting that. So if we look at the shopping malls and if we look at the digital shopping malls, and that is like the marketplaces. So the marketplaces are really they are coming together as like clusters. So luxury are at Farfetch and Amazon has something else, and you know, because the customers tends to go there. What we see in the real world, we see like Zara and H&M tends to be at the same street because they are dragging the same people. But in the shopping mall, we don't really see that. It's like every shopping mall are a bit the same, and we are not as a customer either helped to understand which stores that are for us. We don't get that help. And I think we as customers would love that. I think also the retailers would love to be able to talk with the customers that they don't have today. Because we are talking about data and the value of data. Are we? I can speak a little bit more, yeah? and today retailers are they are getting there with their own data, understanding their customer, talking about the 360 customer view and everything. But they don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know about the other persons that could be the future customers, and they are even more important, actually. And in a shopping mall, you could have a big, you know, you can add so much value with bringing those people that you only have a part of or nothing, but should be a customer of you. So it's really about utilizing the data, learning from these like Farfetches and whatever, how they do, because they are bringing new value to the tenants of that digital space. And if we take it into the physical, I think we can learn a lot.
Fantastic reflections, all of you. Big hands, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing.